All right. Greetings. Welcome back to Blackbird News, where everything is connected. Sorry, I'm starting a little bit late. I'm a little bit tired. A little bit fatigued, but how you doing? Y'all are coming in late anyway, so Salt Liquor says obey, and I say you better. You better. What's going on? Greetings. Okay, I already said that. My record is out. Go listen to it. Put her out a record yesterday. Sorry if somebody was in the comments asking about a link. Hey, Jesus. Asking about a link. I know I'm wearing the same shirt I've been wearing for like 3 days because the reason why I'm a little tired and the show's a little late is because I made a really big push to finish this record. And the whole time I was thinking, like, don't ever set a deadline. I've done this before. Don't ever set a deadline for a record because you'll be really disappointed and frustrated. But sometimes you just got to do that because, especially in a creative process, you can get. Yes, my shirt actually says everything you need to know about everything. Here. Yep. Every time. anyways, in the creative process, if you're really like just taking your time and you want to feel really comfortable with the outcome and all that kind of good stuff, I mean, you could spend you could delay and spend endless time making sure that things are right, and eventually you just got to like say, hey, this is the day, this is when it's happening, right? Because you can get really bogged down in like knob twisting and making sure that everything is perfect and all that kind of good stuff. So like sometimes you just have to just go forward. Anyways, I made a really big push to put out this record, and it's out, and I feel actually pretty good about it. So go one more time. I'm going to drop them links one more time. Here's the link to the record. Go listen to it. Um, maybe hold on one second. Huh. Maybe I'll force you to listen to it. Haha. Just a little bit. Um, where is it? Just play a little snippet. Just a snip. But go check it out. Go listen. You can listen to the whole record. For right now, I'm probably, for maybe the next 24 hours, you can listen to the whole record, and I'll probably take off many of the songs and leave like one or two. Or something like that. I sometimes do that. Uh, Here we go.
This old man pushing a shopping cart with all of his possessions, all of his possessions. This old man pushing a shopping cart with all of his possessions, all of his possessions. He was a veteran, an American flag in the bottom of his car, from the nation that he had served. I said, what happened? Were you a victim? Medical greed, administrative oversight, out of mind, out of time. He said, I still love my country, even though it doesn't love me. He said, I still love my country, even though it doesn't love me.
I am muted. Okay, so what I was saying was, go check out the record. Um, thanks for letting me know. Go check out the record. It's got a couple of political songs on there, which is Shopping Cart, which you just heard, Liberate, and Make the Homeless Homeless Again. And the record is somewhat stripped down, which was intentional. I originally wanted to make it like an acoustic record, just me and a guitar, but I wanted to have a little more going on than that, just a little. There's sound. There's sound. Hello, hello. It's probably a delay. Can you all hear me now? Please let me know. Hello, can you all hear me now? Please let me know. Okay, cool. Cool, thanks. Glad you liked it. Yeah. All right. Well, let's cover some things. I'm tired because I was working on basically finishing that record like all day yesterday, and kind of exhausted, and I have to go to work in a sec, and have many chores to do, etc. And I also have to eat food. I've been forgetting to eat food lately. You guys have those moments when you just forget to eat stuff? All right. All right. But thank you for being here. Good to see you all. Hello, everybody. Appreciate you joining in. Rockfinners, I see you. I'm reading the Rockfin chats. And I don't know who's watching on Rumble. It always says one person is watching on Rumble. Sometimes more people watch on Rumble. Well, let's look at some things. The first thing I wanted to look at actually is in the title of the show. There have been two different videos of two different instances of Blackhawk helicopters. I get, obviously, whatever, government affiliated or FEMA affiliated, coming in and rotor washing or blowing away relief supplies. Look at this. Like on purpose. What the hell's going on? Again, it looks awful hinky, right? There's so many people are reporting issues getting help, reporting issues that FEMA and or local law enforcement is blocking people bringing in supplies or coming to help. And then they have Blackhawk helicopter. You can't. That's not a fake. You can't fake that. Where to go? You can't fake this. This is not a. I don't know. And here's the other one. Excuse me. No music, please. Anyways, there's people here looking at this helicopter, and the helicopter comes down and just like blows. If you guys remember, they did this to the protesters of the pipeline in Minnesota. Remember that? Oh, can you see it? I'm sorry. Is anybody seeing this? Apparently not. I'm talking about something and you guys aren't seeing it. Sorry about that. Anyways, here's as people are looking at this helicopter and it comes down and blows a bunch of their supplies around. And you can't fake this. And they did this to protesters of the pipeline in well, I can't remember the name of the pipeline in Minnesota. At the beginning of the Biden administration, the helicopter came and like blew sand and dirt and dust all over the protesters. Like really, nice guys, nice people. They make house calls too. Yes, they do. Let's look at the original video here. Well, this is the other video, another instance of a helicopter coming through and blasting. Guys, like, what the hell? What the hell? Like, that's not an accident. That's not an accident. That's not. Why are they doing this? It's just, I mean, it's awfully malicious. Why would you do that to the people that you're supposedly helping? It seems, with actions like this or with inactions, as far as the government supplying, it is sick. Oceanic Estate, absolutely. In the case of the government supplying or not supplying money or relief in a timely fashion, and at the same time being willing to send all the money and all the weapons to other, war fronts, but not supplying relief to people. It seems awfully like that the government is openly hostile to its own citizens. What do you do? What do we do? And again, to the people that are like, duh, no, duh, dude. No, I'm just making observations, whatever observations that everybody else makes. But what do you do when the people in charge are openly hostile to the people that they're supposed to be taking care of, representing, right? Wild. It's wild. And more Civil War material. Well, yeah. And to the people that are like, oh, that's what they want, man. They want a civil war, and they're trying to get you to react and stuff. But like, at some point, you got to react. I don't know what you do. It's kind of like when somebody, I've had a few narcissists in my life, or people that are I don't know what you want to call them, that have personality disorders or whatnot, and they like to engage in hostile, all through my life. Like when I was, my stepmother was a very hostile person. And I had, I knew, just throughout my lifetime, I've known a few people who were that were openly hostile, and were, you never knew when it was going to come. You never knew it was coming, but you knew that it was coming, right? So, and it's, reacting is oftentimes the worst thing you can do, because it just escalates the situation. But you can't just sit there and go, okay. You have to do something. You have to either remove yourself from the situation, which it's hard to remove yourself. Yes, exactly. Oceanic state, catch 22 moment. It's hard to remove yourself. You are a citizen of a country, and the government is openly hostile to you and encroaching on all of your rights. You can't really remove yourself. You have to at some point become defiant. You have to at some point resist in some fashion. And there's not really, there isn't really a way around the escalation. You have to kind of confront at some point. And that's what happens with people that are like that in your life, that want to bring you pain or bring you confrontation and misery. At some point you have to confront them and like get them, whatever, remove them from the vicinity, or remove yourself, or whatever it is. Massive tornado outbreak in Central Florida. Okay. We probably could look at that. Anyways, more evidence here that it seems like they really just don't give. This has a community note that says that it's edited to make it look like she walks away. So maybe there's an answer that she gives after this. So maybe this is falsely edited, but his question is a real one.
The administration has money to send to Lebanon without Congress coming back. But Congress does have to come back to approve money to send to people in North Carolina. Do I have that right?
Thanks, everybody.
Okay, so they're saying that's edited, but his question is not edited, and the question is correct. So they can give money to they can give money to Ukraine or Israel or whatever. But they have to come back to vote on more funding for FEMA. Right? Oh, here he is explaining what she did. This is
responded saying, show me your budget. Ducey here, outside the West Wing of the White House, where this week, one of my questions about foreign aid versus hurricane relief was called misinformation. President Biden responded saying, show me your budget and I will tell you what you value. If he's got money for people in Lebanon right now, without Congress having to come back, what does it say about his values? There's not enough money right now for
His
people
values,
in North Carolina who need it. That's not misinformation.
Wait, no, that is your whole premise of the question is misinformation, sir.
what
you don't. Yes,
Which
it's
part?
misinformation.
I've got the information right here. The vice president is posting on social media about $157 million in additional assistance to the people of Lebanon. President Biden is posting about how the Small Business Administration's disaster loan program is going to run out of funding if Congress does not come back. To a lot of people watching these briefings, a taxpayer dollar is a taxpayer dollar is a taxpayer dollar. That is not misinformation. That is a fact.
That's even worse than her walking away.
Ducey here.
That's even more terrible than her walking away. Calling what he's saying misinformation. That is not misinformation, lady. That's horrific. Holy shnikes. I just like saying holy shnikes. Marseille, parts of Europe, and this is Marseille in France, getting remnants of Hurricane Kirk coming into Europe. Sorry. It's a really cooled down quite a bit here, so my computer should not be too bulky today. Thankfully, has cooled down somewhat. This is France. Getting it. Getting the weather whip. Oh, you guys have the good politicians, Chris? Yeah. That's what I hear about the UK. They're really cool and they treat everybody super nice. Here, let's see. Although I did forget to say yesterday when I was talking about socialism versus anarchism versus libertarianism in my long-winded pontifications that probably nobody cares to hear, but I mean, Europe is a really good case in point of social democracy, right? Like, of course they're not perfect and they have problems and they have issues. But man, oh man, are they happy to have free education, free healthcare, 6 paid weeks of vacation, 3 months of maternity, women get 3 months of maternity leave. That's called socialism. People love that. They love that shit. Just making a belated point. But, Europeans look at us and go like, what is wrong with you? It's not that hard to give people healthcare. Like, just give people healthcare. Anyways, I'll stop right there. Here is footage from Hurricane Ian, which shows you the kind of massive storm surge that Floridians are preparing for. Looking to direct citizen assembly. It is a superior. I believe you. I mean, actually, that sounds direct citizen assembly sounds absolutely wonderful to me. Superior to anarchy. This is Hurricane Ian eventually developing into something just really brutal. I think I played this very look at this. Played this video for y'all when it happened. Pretty sure I remember this video. Anyways, major storm surge. Here I found a tornado passing close to Fort Myers. This is from 34 minutes ago. Tornado on the ground seeks shelter. This is from 3 hours ago. So, man, be careful out there. Okay, thanks. 00001. Thanks, man. Sure, it's totally dumb. It's just it is actually. I thought about it. No, I believe you. It's dumb. Yeah, Chris Foster, weird. We've been doing socialist stuff for years and haven't run out of other people's money. Right? And to go to the point, back to the point of Congress has to come back to vote whether to give you money for help, right? For FEMA, FEMA money for help for the hurricane victims, right? They have to come back and vote on that, but they can just scoop out all the money for war funding, right? It's all that's kind of adjacent to how you going to pay for it, right? There's endless money for military industrial complex, endless, and nobody even bats an eye. Nobody ever has a question about how you're going to pay for all that war stuff. But when it comes to social programs, people get all like, super pearl clutchy. I don't know. And that whole schmuck about social services being a Ponzi scheme, they're going to run out of money, and like, yeah, they could have problems. They're if you don't steal from the programs, and if you actually fund them, they actually work, right? A lot of the times, it's the case of not funding it, or not mismanaging it, and then just saying, well, it's not going to work. It's going to run out of money. It's a terrible. No. All that is a bunch of nonsense. Yes, Europeans have higher tax rates, but they get something for their taxes, right? We pay taxes and we get less. They keep taking away all the things that we're supposed to get with the money we pay for the taxes and giving it to, Zelensky. Anyways. This is a bit of comedy relief from Ben Shapiro talking about the possibility of higher sea levels. With Hurricane Milton threatening to swamp Tampa, it's a great opportunity to enjoy one of the greatest responses to climate science denial from our age.
Rise by let's say 5 feet over the next 100 years, say 10 feet by the next 100 years, and it puts all the low-lying areas on the coast underwater, right? Which let's say all of that happens. You think that people aren't going to just sell their homes and move?
Just one small problem. Sell their houses to who, Ben? Fucking Aquaman!
So let's say, for the sake of argument, that all of the water levels around the world rise by let's say 5 feet.
Haha. Takes a big brains to really think these problems through. I'm saying. By the way, for the people that are like, it's not happening, there's no sea level rise, not, that since at least the Obama administration, there is a program in Florida that will help people relocate because of sea level rise. Like, there's already programs in place to get people out of their houses or help relocate them, give them money to relocate. Which people often really don't even talk about. So why would they do that if it wasn't like a thing that was actually happening? I don't know. It's a land grab, bro. I don't know. Maybe. 15 minutes. I don't know. I don't know about the 15-minute city thing, but I do know. I was hearing somebody talking about the restricting of traffic being like a thing that's happening. It is. That is a thing that's happening. To what end, I don't know, but actually, on some levels, right, if you're restricting traffic to, bring down the number of cars, it's an interesting thing to see in Los Angeles. It's actually a thing that's happening. So, but it's also a little bit, I don't know what you want to call it. It's a little bit, what do you call it when somebody has like a split personality, or what do you call it? It's a little bit like, anyways, my brain is totally blanking, but you know, they're always into widening roads, right? Building the freeways bigger and wider and more lanes for all the traffic. But in LA over the last few years, it's definitely a policy. And I don't know who, nobody voted on it. Nobody asked us for anybody's opinion. Nobody asked for anybody's opinion. It's just a thing that's happening, that they're taking all the traditional, 2-lane streets all over the city, everywhere, um, and making them 1 lane and putting like a bike lane in there, and then like moving the parking out from the curb out, and then like they're just doing all these like all this road restriction stuff, which is all just really actually aggravating because there's a lot of traffic in LA and it's just making it worse. And it's like, why are you doing this? Like, just get rid of the cars like altogether. Why not just block the whole street? Just block the streets off. Um, instead of making it like a miserable experience to try and get around the city. Like, why not just leave some of the roads open and close some of the roads down, right? Like, no, you can't go over here, but you can go over here. I don't know. It's weird. Schizophrenic. Yeah, I think that's the word I was looking for. Thanks, Malcolm. Um, yeah, it's a little bit strange because they're restricting all the surface streets, but then widening the freeways. So I'm just like, what message are you trying to give to people? And clearly you want to sell people cars. Or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe they don't want to sell people cars. I'm not, I'm a little confused on the messaging is schizophrenic. Let's see. Denver says Europeans used to get stuff for their taxes. Now they get a bunch of EU bullshit they're powerless to stop, like Ukraine. I mean, that is true. There is. Well, here's another issue about Europe that is schizophrenic, I guess, or perplexing, is that you have, you have them enacting these climate laws around farming and other things, and people are really against. But Europe also doesn't allow of like a lot of like the GMO foods that we allow. Like Europeans are generally more healthy because they don't allow a bunch of the crap in foods that we allow in the US. So those are good regulations. Those are good positive policies that you want, right? We want those kinds of regulations, but we're so like lost in the sauce in a libertarian, uh brainwash hellscape, that nobody can actually like get it together to organize around. Like, maybe we shouldn't have all these GMOs in our food. Maybe we shouldn't have all these, additives and whatnot that are illegal in Europe, right? Like, you can't put them in food in Europe. Those are good things. Like, I'm a proponent of that. We should have that here, right? Uh, you know, the farming restrictions, I'm divided. I'm kind of on the fence about. It's like, well, you got to tackle, those kinds of issues on some level, but in the way that they're doing it is probably not helpful, right? Is there a way to do it that's better for people in general, or can take people down the consumption ladder in a managed way, instead of like making it something where you're just going up against the farmers and the farmers are getting pissed and they're blocking all the roads and throwing manure on the city halls, right? Like, it's just the way they're doing it is not really great. So I don't, it's a conundrum, because some of those things are really great policies. AOD says it's kind of weird how Germany is generally against GMO and yet we have Bayer Monsanto. Huh. Yeah, well, this is what, these are all things that I hear. I don't know, I don't live in Europe. I'm not there, and I've only been to the UK. So, I don't know how much I can confirm about the lack, but there are, a lot of things that they don't put in food that we do, right? There's a lot of things that they do that are better around food. So you want those healthy, good for people kind of regulations. You want those things. And those are the kind of things that go against what the corporations and the oligarchs and the conglomerates, what they want to do, which is, poison you for profit. Denver says some countries in the EU have banned the cultivation of GMOs in their territory. Germany, Austria, Bulgaria, Luxembourg, Poland, Hungary, Greece, and Italy. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah. So those are good things, right? You want healthcare, and you want free education, and you want vacations, and you want all that stuff, but you don't want the overarching like crazy control mechanisms. You don't want, along with free healthcare, to be forced to take medicines that you don't want, right? So there's got to be obviously regulation around that. There's got to be some response to what people want and not what you're right. So there's always going to be a battle or battle lines. It's just like where we've drawn our battle lines is way way behind where places like the EU are, and we should probably be, our battle lines are, we've been going backwards for decades, for 4 or 5 decades. We've been going backwards as far as like getting fair pay and regulation around our food and getting protections, for our health and our rights and our everything, right? We're going backwards. Judy Truitt says RFK Jr. says he will see to this if Trump is elected. Yeah, well, we'll see about that. I don't have high hopes for that. I mean, it sounds good. It sure does sound awfully nice, but and what he is saying is I'm into it. But is he actually going to get more? Is RFK Jr. going to push more regulation into a Trump? That sounds like pushing him left. That sounds like instead of pushing, we're not going to push Kamala Harris left, but we're going to push Trump left. What? I mean, maybe it's not enough for me to vote for the dude, but I mean, it sounds good. I hope it happens, but I'm not going to throw my sure, yeah, totally he's going to do it. Don't think so. I freaking doubt it. Okay, Adam McKay, this is interesting. Wrote a speech for Biden, and he said, with the atrocious response to Hurricane Helene and the fact that they have to come and vote for FEMA money and give away money over here, he said, I wrote up a speech for the president. Eventually, it's going to load here. From Adam McKay. The speech the president should give right now, seriously, given the frightening nature of Hurricane Milton and the nonstop array of weather disasters that have battered the planet amidst 16 straight months of record-breaking global temperatures, we submit this speech for President Biden to give in a primetime national address ASAP. And they're not going to do this. They're not going to do it. Because you don't want people, you really don't want people paying that much attention to climate change. You want to just let them know about climate change just enough to sell them an electric car. That's all you want. Or vote for me because I care about climate change. That's all you want people to know about climate change. That is the depth of thinking around climate change you want people to have. Because if people think about it any more than that, then they actually would get really mad about what you're doing. And they might actually look at what you're doing. They might actually pay attention to what you're doing. And they might actually go, hey, hold on, you're just lying your ever-loving pants off here. So climate change is only a tool to them. It's not a real problem that you want people focusing on. My fellow Americans, by now most of you are aware of the frightening intensification of Hurricane Milton over the Gulf of Mexico, which is now threatening large swaths of the state of Florida. Evacuations are being ordered while state and city officials, in conjunction with regular citizens, are doing everything possible to prepare for the potential catastrophe that comes right on the heels of another unthinkable disaster, Hurricane Helene. FEMA has already pushed beyond its current funding, which is why, effective immediately, I'm ordering Congress to return to D.C. to vote for an additional $40 billion in FEMA funding. Sounds like that should be the thing that's happening, right? This money will pay for rescue missions, shelters, clean water, food, and recovery for the regions currently suffering after Helene and the damage we anticipate Milton causing. Now is not the time for partisan politics. Americans need help now. Why is that? Because as scientists have been warning us for 60 years the burning of oil, coal, and gas is causing runaway global warming that has put all of us in ever-increasing danger and put in doubt the future we all assumed was there for us and our children. These are hard words, I know. I take no pleasure in delivering them, but we have a lot of work to do. And unfortunately, oil companies have spent hundreds of millions creating confusion and inaction, turning us against each other. Okay, this is where it gets a little dicey. I don't know. I have some critiques of this letter or speech, which is why, effective immediately, I'm declaring a national climate emergency. This declaration is the first step. I'm going to amend Adam McKay's speech, that the president should give. Expanding funding. This declaration is the first step in what will be a nationwide effort to prepare for the violent weather our warming world now promises. Expanding funding for firefighters, shelters, cooling centers, and the strengthening of power grids will be step one. Step two is the mass production and installation of solar, wind, and hydropower in conjunction with the Pentagon. What? Step three is the creation and funding of 5 national laboratories in the spirit of the Manhattan Project to develop the removal of carbons we have released into our air that are now warming the planet at an incredible rate. I'm going to add, here's my addition to this speech. Step 4, we are going to recall all of our troops and military from all the bases around the world. We're going to leave skeleton crews in key areas of concern, but we are going to dismantle our military bases effective immediately, and return all the troops home in order to create a climate change corps that will go out throughout the land and help people learn self-sufficiency in the face of climate change, of disastrous climate change. We will teach people to grow their own food. We will get people off the teat of consumerism. We will teach people how to make their own clothes, grow their own food, repair and recycle the billions of tons of material that we have already created in the world. We will teach people how to reuse all of these things in order to greatly cut down their consumerism. The ending of the military as we know it, or the end of military escapades as we know it, combined with the end of rampant consumerism as we know it, will put the fossil fuel industries out of business. That's the part of the speech that that's the most important part of the speech that he should be giving Americans, but that won't happen. We must prepare for the impending storm. It will not be easy, but we will do it for each other, for our children, for our future. Thank you, and God bless every one of you. Anyways, the part that I added to this speech is the most important part, because it's the actual how to do the things, right? Not just like, well, we're just going to immediately approve some money and help people through this disaster. Very short-sighted, next 5 minutes, Adam McKay. How about the next 20 years or 30 years? Anyways. I mean, he mentioned the Pentagon and developing. So let's go farther. We're going to turn the Pentagon into a completely different entity, other than a money making, planet raping entity. We're going to completely, remove that title from the Pentagon, and we're going to make it something completely different, which is, let's stop destroying the planet agency. Okay. All right. See what I did there? All right. A couple minutes left. If you enjoy the show, you like hanging out here, you like what you hear here, you like getting this content for free 99 Monday through Friday, and once in a while on the weekends. If you enjoy what you get here at this channel, please consider supporting this channel, because I really do need the support. And there are a bunch of direct donation links in the description box of every platform that I'm on. That's Rumbles, YouTube, and Rockfin. Please do not tip on Rockfin for the moment, because they're still being super weird about paying out tips, which are the things that you give to me, but we're actually not receiving the thing that you're giving. So I wouldn't do that. I'd go for the direct donation links. Got a new member on Patreon. Thanks, new Patreon member. Also, if you want to support, you can always go buy my new record, which I already dropped a link to. Go check it out. Let's give it a listen, give it a spin. That's another way to support. A couple of here's Netanyahu